Okay, hey everybody. I'm just gonna pull up my page here and hopefully Facebook is gonna cooperate. Send out the notifications. The other night it cut off. It cut off in the middle of the video. So, let's see. Appears to be okay. So usually when you sign on, you see a little thing in the corner that says click to get notifications for lives. You can click that if you want to be notified. That's really the only way you do. Everything in Facebook is like hidden now. Other than that, go ahead and hit like, comment. You can hit the little arrow button to show other people the video. I just pulled out 2 quick and easy projects. So I haven't really chalked on metal before. So this is just a little chalkboard that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to do this one again because I was a little unsure about the saying, but then once I did it on the metal the other night, the reclaimed metal tray, I really liked it. So I'm going to do that one again, and then I have this one, which is a C-size transfer, the 12x18 on the 12x18 Odette board, and I've got to decide what colors I want to do in this one, but I'll be doing that one second. I'll start out small and end bigger. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna grab my little fuzzing cloth. Pretty much how to decide whether or not you need to fuzz. Took me a little while to figure it out. Basically, if it's a smooth surface, you want to fuzz because it's gonna stick better. Whereas the cloth material, wood, it's not gonna stick as well. So you're gonna be able to get it off. And with stuff like that that could move, so if you're doing a t-shirt or something that could move, you want to make sure that your transfer sticks to it as good as possible. If I didn't fuzz this and just put it on here, what would happen is it would be difficult for me to get it off. I'll end up with chalk all over me, or ink if you're using ink. And then I could end up pulling and stretching the transfer, which could stretch the letters out when I go to use it again because it's reusable. Or it could actually, you'll see sometimes you might notice they would like curl up just because you're pulling on it. So this one did curl a little bit the other night. It's, as you can see, it's fine. But it did curl a little bit the other night when I was doing the tray. And I could still see I got a little bit of glitter on there. And the glitter didn't even have glitter on the colors that I used. The glitter came off of the eraser or the towel. One of those 2 things. Right. So, and if you want it to be perfect, you can, of course, line it up with a ruler, measure it out. Completely up to you. Again, this is though we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. Right. And, okay, so it's a silver background. I want it to stand out. So you can see it's not completely flat when I'm doing it. Maybe I'll put my towel down underneath it. Help. I don't know if that's really helping at all, but that might be a little bit better. Okay, hey! Alright, what colors do I want to use? If anybody has preference of colors, let me know. Last night when I did it, I used like the tulip and tide, and honestly, it started to look like, if anybody knows Potsdam's colors, like the Sandstoners, the high school, it really started looking like their colors once I blended them together. It was kind of funny, actually. I didn't notice it until afterwards. I think I'm going to do a little combination of colors. So I've got, what do I have for other spring colors? I'm just grabbing out a bunch of colors. I'm going to have some fun with it. Pistachio is the light color green. Golden Hour is light color yellow. They're the Easter seasonal ones. Peony is a pink color. We did that in Zebra the other night. Black is, of course, Black Velvet. This is not the shimmer one. It's just the plain. And then the guava is one of my favorites. So I think these are all going to stand out well. And I think I'm going to try to mix the yellow and green together, maybe with a little black to make it stand out. These are all the new paste formulas, so it's really not going to involve me needing to stir it up or add any water. Anybody that's seen the older videos with the older paste formulas know that when you open those, depending on how well you sealed it, you might need to do that. Anybody that orders any now is not going to get the old formula, it's going to be the new formula. Unless for some reason you find a designer that has some of the old stuff that they're getting rid of for like a lower cost. It works exactly the same. Right. Grab one of mine. So Clorox wipes are a good way to clean things up, especially your fingers, especially if you're working with ink. We're not working with ink tonight. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a messy. So I'm going to do some of the letters in black, and then if anybody has an opinion, let me know. I'm just going to start from the top, and I'm probably going to do the pull and peel, just because I'm playing around with multiple colors. And what I'll do is I'll do down to about here, and then I'll pull it up and give it like a couple of seconds to dry a little bit, and then let it fall back, and then do the next section and the next section. That way, with the new paste formula, you have more time to work with it, but if you let it dry, then when you go to pull it up, you'll see that it's stuck in the silk mesh screen area. And then you gotta put it down and do it and over again, put some fresh stuff on it, and that usually works, but depending on how long you've had it down there, you may need to pull up the transfer, clean the transfer, and then put it back down once it dries. So I'm gonna start with the black. And you'll notice with some of the letters, when I hold it up, that they have little, well, if you look at the transfer, you can see like the little teal dots in them. It's just to give it a distressed look. And when I go to clean this off, you'll probably notice that the black probably, since I'm doing it first, probably stained it. It's not, to stain the transfer, it's not hurting it at all. And as always, just scrape the excess paste back in the jar. So now I'm going to pull it up a little bit so that the black doesn't dry in the silk screen mesh area. So grab a little bit of each corner, pull it up. As I pull it up, I'm looking at it. And I could have done have it all part before I pulled it up, which I probably should have done, but that's okay. The guava. Feel free to say hi if you stop on. This is my little squeegee that I cut in half. I cut the mini in half. It makes it easier to get into smaller areas like this. And I usually don't care if my paste colors mix together. It gives it more of a unique look if it does do that. So let's just pull this up. So if you can see that, it's the we may not have it all. And I'm just gonna put it back down here, and I'm just gonna touch it along the edge to make sure that it sticks by that together. So to get the black really close. The only reason I'm not worried about the black, or I would have cleaned it off, is because I'm going to mix the black and the guava together. So I'm going to kind of get a little bit of the black on the outside. So if you ever make a mistake or something, it's a good way to cover it up too. I don't know why I whispered that. It's a good way to cover it up. I was holding out to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but being that they just pulled it off the market today, I'm going to end up getting, I'm sure, the Pfizer one. I would just be taking whatever they give me at that point. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth out some black in this area. Not too much, just a little nudge to give it a rough look. Now I'm going to go in with a lot of guava. So now that I've got that, I'm gonna pull it up. Just get chalk paste on my face. So again, I'm pulling it up to give it a second to dry before, so that the chalk paste doesn't get stuck in silkscreen mesh area. Okay. So I'm just gonna stick it back down that way and see. But together we have it all. So we do have excess paste here. Which I think I'll do it in the we have it all section. But in the meantime, I'm going to mix some green and yellow. There really is no right or wrong way to mix the colors. Just put on whatever you want and put it on there and go on like this. I'm already mixing my colors together. I'm just doing a little like swirly back and forth. You can do that. You can use your finger to do it. I obviously just picked up a little bit of orange from the top and now it's on this part. I'm not really concerned with it though. So I'm going to use, since I've got some orange and black still on this, I'm going to use it on this little section in the middle for the we have it. And then for the all, I want to use this, but I do want a little bit of darker color on it, so I think I'll go ahead and yeah, I've got some black here. Wonder if I can do a black outline behind it and then mix the colors. That's what I'm going to do. So the all has like a little line around the edge to give it like a block lettering look. So I'm just going to try to hit that line with black. And I should be using my smaller squeegee. This is the multi-tool. I'm going to use it, when you're using this one, it's almost like you're painting, honestly. It's great for hitting little areas, and then the detail tool has one that's less than half of the size of that. So if you're doing like a little birdie and you want to do their face, or the bunnies with their faces, it's a good option for you. We almost didn't go live, but I'm like, I was watching other lives and no one's commenting on my page. If you can hear the church bells, that means it's 9 o'clock. Got that. Okay, now with this, I'm going to combine all the colors that I have left down to one. And I'll use my little mini squeegee to put them on. And I know it's going to be really messy. I don't care. kind of want it to be really messy. Some areas it's looking like a orange and yellow stripe. It's actually got 4 colors in it. Okay, so I'm going to try to just squeegee off the excess paste on this one and then pull it up and see what we've got. So hopefully the butt together part wasn't down too long. It's not. Oh, I really like how that came out. It almost came out like an orange and yellow camouflage. Sweet. Okay. I'm just let that soak in my water bucket. And grab my towel. The black with the orange and for the together came out kind of weird. I like it though. So I'm not going to seal this. I'm just going to leave the chalk paste on like this. Now the colors came out pretty good on it. I think you might be able to see it. The reflection of that light makes it hard sometimes to see stuff. So I wish you could see the all. See how it's almost like a camouflage? Looks really good. With the black outline looks even better. So I really love this transfer. And obviously, if you just have a tack or something or nail on the wall, you can hold it here. You can put any kind of lists or whatever you have on it. Your dad always has one of these in the garage, I swear. He's got it from the railroad. It's just a habit. Because he always had his paperwork in one that clipped. So now my brother does the same thing. All right, so I'm gonna close up these pastes and I don't know what the heck the neighbor's doing with the truck. Okay. So I'm just tossing these in there. The more that they soak in there, it's gonna loosen up the chalk paste, which will just make it extra easy for when I go to clean it. And I did get a little bit in the top of this one of mixture color, so I'm just gonna take my wipe and wipe it up. You can clean around the rim of the top of your jars each time. Some people do it. Just depends. It doesn't bother me. And I'm fine with it. But just know that it's going to be like that. So, you know, if you're using like a ketchup jar or something and you get like the little bit of hard ketchup because it spilled over the edge, same thing's going to happen with these jars. Completely up to you whether you like it or not. Alright, so put those colors back. And so the only other one I'm going to do tonight is this one, which I got this transfer originally because it was one of the last chance ones. So it's not one that they really make anymore. But when I have workshops and stuff, people will be able to use my transfers to make stuff. So even though it's retired, if you go to one of the workshops and you pick to do one this size, you'll be able to do this one. And we're going to be doing them for both. Always check the back. If you have hangers, make sure you're putting them in the right direction. So many times I've done it and I've done it upside down and then can't hang it up afterwards. And if Barb is tuning into this one at all, she'll know because she knew when I went to her house to do some that. So make sure you check the back because I was doing a little ornament one. And we had the little string at the wrong end. Okay. So I've not used this one before. So favorites of all time. Remember to label them. And I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the workshops we're going to do. We're going to be doing them wherever. So it can be at someone's house. It can be here at my house. You know, once the library opens up again, they have a room to be able to do workshops. The Legion will probably be able to do it there. I know we're going to be doing some on campus. So I'm going to go reverse. So because it's so big and I just stuck it on itself. You stick it on itself, pull it up nice and easy. It should come up. If you get it really stuck, spray a little water on it and it will release itself. That's one of the things about the bigger transfers. So that's why we say start small. Start with the little 5x7 ones to get used to it, and then go up to the size that we just did, which is basically the 8.5x11. And then from there, this is the next size. But a lot of the C-size transfers, like you see me did the other night, aren't a full 12x18 size. They're actually where you cut several of pieces out of it. So which one did we do? So like the truck transfer, that was a big one, but we cut the truck out, so I actually had 4 parts to it. So just because something's a C-size transfer doesn't mean that it's going to turn out to be 12x18 size. So hopefully I have fuzzed this enough. So remember to check your fuzz. Go like this, and if you can pull it across the board, then you're okay. If you go like this and all of a sudden it sticks, fuzz some more. All right, so I'm just gonna, this is pretty easy to line up on the 12x18 boards, obviously. This one's gonna be the corners that are gonna still be popped up, but what you really wanna make sure is smooth is the letter or picture area. And I'm gonna have extra room on the edges so I can always do flowers or any other embellishments, leaves. So which are pretty much my favorite of all time forever. And it's a white background, so I was thinking, well, I can't really do a red, white, and blue. Because we've been doing a lot of seasonal stuff lately. So I'll do the Tide Tulip, which is, it's like the guava, but a little bit darker. Just a little shade darker. And the black. Could do my Candy Apple. That'll look a little more red, white, and bluish, I guess. Oops. Alright. So I got my squeegees. I just need, so I think I'm going to do the You're Pretty Much My of In the History of in black. And then I'm going to do the favorite all time forever in the Tide, which is the off-color blue and the red. So let's see how this is. If it was a black background, I'd be using white for like a red, white, and blue effect. But it's a white background. Alright. I'm going to use my smaller squeegee again for the smaller letters. And I'm going to do the rows as I go down. So I'm not going to do the black down here until I get down to that part. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. And you can see little black pieces on here. That's just because, like I said before, there was a little dry black stuff around the edge of the jar. Just toss that in the garbage. So let's see how the Tide looks on this. And the blue color. Trying to think if I want to do a little bit of a messy. You can always use your stir sticks to just plop the paste on and then smooth it out with the squeegee. There's all different ways to do it. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. So I'm going to do favorite all time, and then the forever at the bottom is going to be a combination of the Tide and the red. With the chalk paste, you can go left, right, up, down, diagonal, doesn't matter. if this were ink on a shirt or a towel or something, then you would want to only go in one direction. I'm just trying to be careful with these lower letters. I don't want to get the tide on the next line. I want that just to be the red. Alright, so I've got those. I'm going to do a little bit of a pull and peel. So I'm going to pull up the part that I've done so far. Nice and slowly, don't be in a rush. So I'm just giving it a few seconds. What the point of it is to let that area, the favorite is thicker letters. So give it a few seconds to start to dry enough so that when I put this back down, it's not going to try to stick back in the mesh. And you usually don't need to give it very long at all. And if you're at all worried about it, you could just take a stir stick and stick it underneath this to keep it from falling all the way down. All right, so I'm going to grab out my red. And my red is not the new paste formula, it's actually the old paste formula. So as you can see, it looks a little thicker. So I'm going to spray a little water in it just to make it a little bit thinner. I have not used the candy apple red in a while, so. Again, you should not have to worry about the old paste formula. But you can see what the difference is. We just are getting a new catalog release this week, and it's going to be a lot of red, white, and blue for summer stuff. It's pretty cool. They even have more cutouts now. The cutouts now are going to be stars. Be pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the paste with this and just smear it on. Again, it's a different way to do it. I could stick the squeegee in the jar, but don't need to. And I'm getting out my fingers. Alright, it's time for a squeegee for my red. Anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. You can either ask them while I'm doing the live, or you can send me a message, or if you just post it on the video, if you're hitting the replay, you're catching it on a replay. I will see it, it will pop up for me, and I'll see it likely tomorrow morning and respond back. So I'm just cleaning off the excess pretty much. And of course, when there's a lot of excess, put it right back in the jar. Alright, and I'm just going to do in the history of before I do the forever. But before I do that, I'm going to pull up, before I do the forever, I'm going to pull up on the part that I just did and give that a few seconds to dry. And again, I'm just trying to be careful not to mix my letters. I should be done with the black now. this up. You do have to be careful when you sit it back down, the letters that you just did, because if for some reason you got some on the back side of the transfer that it's smeared, or it looks like it's bleeding or something, if for some reason that happened, when you go to put this back down, it's gonna wanna, if you're careless with it, you can see that the letters double themselves up or smear. So far I'm liking the colors. More holiday, goes along with our summer time theme stuff. Right. So for the forever, I'm going to do a little mixture. I'm going to do a little bit of tide and a little bit of red. So here. No rhyme or reason to it. You can do a rhyme or reason. You can, you know, make it look like stripes or anything you want, honestly. You can, sometimes I've done like a rainbow effect. So do like a little red, do a little yellow, do a little green. Now that I've got the teal, the tide, which is like a dark teal color, just putting in red in different areas to fill in the gaps. And then I'll take the squeegee and do like a little bit of combo. You can just stick your finger in the jar. The paste is not going to hurt. And if you're doing it with kids, it's probably easier just to do that. Alright, so I've got that all in there. Now I'm going to grab my squeegee. Doesn't matter which one because they both have the colors on them. Darker color will always overwhelm the lighter color. Right, keep that in mind. So got this. But of course with the black and the tide overlap, it's going to come out a little darker. Looking like a little stormy color. But you can still see the tide underneath it. I am getting a build up here though, so I'm going to put the excess there. And then I still have it here in case I need it on any of the other letters. Alright, so those there. Clean up my fingers before I pull it up. Always good to check your fingers. Okay, so this should be done now. I should be able to pull it up all the way through nice and easy. So I didn't mess up those letters up top. Love the color combo. Kind of wishing I had done it on the larger letters up top too. Alright, and I'm just going to stick this in my water bucket. And because it's too big for it, I'm just kind of pushing it down in. Just so that it can kind of work on just loosening up the chalk paste. Keeping it wet. It's easier to get off when it's still wet. Alright. So when you do that technique, it's called the messy technique, but it's also called a marbling effect because that's the effect that it can have. I just got a little bit of paste on the edge here. So as you can see, hopefully it's okay. Tide, the little letters are black. Tide, candy apple, red. And this is tide and candy apple red mixed together, which of course turns into like a darker, almost black color when they blend. I really like the blending. So I don't know how well you guys can see that. I'm kind of watching it on Facebook because it has a silly delay. Hopefully if I move it around you can see that the color blending. Okay, those are the two that I did tonight. All I have left now is to clean up my mess. If you do have a little paste formula, anybody that's watching, it's good to spray some water in it before you close it up. That way, if any of it does start to, the moisture tends to get to the old chalk paste to dry it out a bit, that will help it. It kind of acts like a decoy, basically. All right, so I really like this one. So be watching, I will be doing some more things that are these kind of colors, especially with Memorial Day and the 4th of July and stuff coming up with our new releases. So, with that marbling effect. Alright, so I'm just going to put this here to the side to dry. And that's it. I just have to clean up my transfers. And you probably don't really care to watch me clean up the transfers, but if anybody was on and had questions, let me know now. Otherwise, I'll start cleaning off my transfers and call it a night. I have discovered that I prefer to use these when washing the transfers. These are the little dish strainer cloths you like put on your dish strainer, but because they soak up water so well, and water is like what we're using to clean it up with, it works much better than these towels. These towels tend to really absorb the water and it takes them a while to dry. Like basically if you dropped a towel in the shower or the bathtub or something, it takes forever to dry, whereas this is just meant to, it's got like foam or something in it. All right, I'm gonna sign off for the night. Everybody have fun. If you can hit like or comment or share, that would be great. Thanks.